welcome to Beyond the Front Page for the fall 2021 semester here at CU Community College, and it's broadcast on Spectrum, Verizon Fios, the Auburn Regional Media Access, known as ARMA, as well as Win 89.1, the college's radio station. I am your host, Guy Cosentino. While most of us were paying attention to the 2021 campaign over the last 45 days, there has been another campaign that kicked off in the last month that may impact more people in a given year than those for most other offices. And that, of course, is the CU County United Way. We are delighted to have in the studio today the new Executive Director of the CU County United Way, Kathryn to talk about this year's campaign, the crucial role the United Way plays in our community, her goals for the agency that she took over in June, and that will be celebrating its 100th anniversary next year. Welcome not only to be on the front page, but welcome to our community.
Thank you. Thanks for having me today.
I should say welcome back, because you're originally from Central New York.
Yes, from Marcellus.
From Marcellus.
Yep.
So I want to talk about you and what you've got planned, but let's talk about some campaign basics. And normally, as you know, and I think Lisa Stone has told you, we would normally have a whole panel of you here, but COVID 2 years ago, or for the last 19 months, hasn't allowed us to do panels, and we usually have had the campaign chairs or members of staff and campaign cabinet here. So we're delighted that you're representing the United Way.
Thank you for having me.
So what's your goal this year? Well, how much do you want to raise?
So our goal this year is $800,000.
And last year was, so you're up a little bit from last year?
We are, yes. Last year was $725,000, and they were so close. Given the circumstances, did an amazing job, $708,000. So $800,000 this year, we're already 56% of the way there.
So I see the thermometer up in front of the county office building. Yep. Is that an active effort to keep that updated so people know?
Yeah, we're gonna hit major milestones. So I think once we reach maybe 75%, we'll be back out there. But we can, for a formal ceremony with the campaign co-chairs. But we'll keep that up. We have one in front of the city building as well.
So you normally, it has always been interesting. The United Way has used everyone from former Sheriff David Gould and the new surrogate judge, looks like John Boodleman has been chairs, or you've had couples like the Alberices as a couple, then the Alberices as a family. You've used Ignite, the Young Professionals Group, but you've got a great team this year from Nucor.
We do.
So how are they involved, and what are they doing?
They are tremendous. Nucor, nationally really places an emphasis on community involvement and supporting, local nonprofits and families and kids and individuals. So from the beginning, when I came on board in May, they were already appointed, and they helped us have a really dynamic summer. We did some things we've never done before, so we were a part of...
Such as?
Yep, such as Ride for the Memories. So that was an event that was hosted by Page Trucking. So we had some raffles that day. We had Nucor was auctioning off some military branch plaques, and those proceeds came back to us, which was, a great kickstart to the campaign. We also, Nucor hosted some chicken barbecues. If anyone has had a Nucor chicken barbecue, it's delicious. They have a smoker that they made. So we did a couple of those. Prison City hosted us at the North Street Farm for a chicken barbecue day. And so we had some events during the summer that really gave us the jump start.
So it's Nucor steel,
Nucor
rebar.
Steel of Auburn.
No rebar in the grill.
Yes.
Did they make the? They
it
made
is.
the grill.
They made it.
Oh, that's great. Local product.
Yep.
Okay.
Local product. So they've just been involved in every way. We just, I know that we're going to talk about the personal care drive later, but we had final drive-through locations throughout the county, and Nucor was one of those spots. So we had a huge team from Nucor who was there, helping us sort items and box them up and get them ready for CAP. I forgot to mention we did a Touch a Truck event also at Page Trucking, which brought together the Plainville Fire Department. We had some school buses there. They were grilling, and again, the proceeds came back to us.
So you mentioned, we might as well talk about the personal care drive.
Sure.
So I know it's over.
It is.
But that doesn't mean this is the 4th annual one. So first of all, for people who don't know what it is, what is it?
So the personal care drive, last year it was a bit faster because of COVID, but it's countywide. So we had this year 10 participating drop-off locations throughout the county. So, we would put boxes out and shoppers, patrons, clients, because we had some in banks as well, could drop off personal care items like shampoo and conditioner and diapers, wipes, things like that. And then we had local businesses or the county, the city, the library. We had so many people participating in collecting these items for 3 weeks. And what happens, we ended the event with 4 drive-through locations, with the final stop being CAP. So we work with CAP.
Action program on State Street.
Yep, exactly. And we work with their food program director, Chris Ellers, and we get all of the items sorted and boxed up and give them to CAP, and they're distributed through the food pantries and the shelters. So this year we have a rough count so far, about probably over 4,000 items that will go out to the county.
Yeah, and this is such a success for the United Way that you're already planning for the 5th annual.
Absolutely.
And these are items that normally people don't even think about, whether they're small bottles of shampoo or wipes or especially diapers. Because unlike Onondaga, which has a diaper bank, we don't have one here. And we can explain that at somewhat, because as soon as it came out of my mouth, the diaper bank didn't make sense. But that's a partnership you do with CAP. So for those who may not know just some basics about the United Way, how many agencies are there?
We partner with 20 agencies at the moment, with 28 programs. So a couple of our agencies that we partner with have a couple of programs that we help to support.
So everything, and I always try to list many of them. I do not get to do all 28, but it's everybody from the Girl Scouts and the Boy Scouts to the YMCA to CHAD to Q counseling, a whole slew of agencies, Salvation Army, throughout
charities. It's amazing. I mean, one of the greatest things, one of the best things of the United Way is the different pillars that we help support, health, education, financial stability, safety net, and just, who that includes. And it's many. Perform for Purpose are a huge part of this community, and they provide such a wonderful outlet and wonderful, activity for our kids, and they perform in different places and learn so much. And, we can help. I think we help them.
So new to the community, and you're like everyone else. Every time you say the words "perform for purpose," you smile, because everyone thinks they're just a great bunch of young people, and their leadership has been fantastic.
They are extraordinary. They were actually out there with us at the final drive-through for the personal care drive at Newcourt. And if anyone remembers October 16th, it was torrential downpour, and they still played. They are
rain or shine.
Rain or shine. So we get to partner with so many wonderful organizations.
So your campaign, where many fundraisers are being very cautious right now because of the times, you are literally moving from $725 to $800. Why?
Well, taking numbers, and you need to look at several years. I mean, the last, as you say, 19 months, almost 2 years, we were looking at what our campaign brought in prior to the pandemic, which was upwards of $1 million. So, I think as we settle in to, this new world that we're in, schools have reopened, people were able to return to work in a much more regular capacity, or at least have virtual, ways to return to work. So I think coming out of the worst part of the pandemic, we kind of set our sights a little bit higher. And we have found extreme generosity.
So you're, if I'm remembering all the interviews I've done over the last 20 years with the United Way, it sounds like you're ahead of goal at this stage.
We are. We're actually ahead of where we would have been at the,
normal times.
At November 4th.
November 4th. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're on pace. And we don't want to move on too far without telling people how they can donate. So I believe up on the screen will be the United Way website, which you can do, and that's a secure way to donate
It
there.
is, yes.
You can send a check to 2 State Street,
Sure.
not to 17 East Genesee Street.
No.
2 State Street. It will get forwarded there by
It will be forwarded. That's happened.
Maybe take a while. But 2 State Street is your new location. They moved there about a year ago. And so people can write a check out that way. You can talk to your employer, and we'll talk about those employee ways to do that. If you want to take it out of your paycheck, or for those of you who are more high tech and have a phone and just want to do it, you can text UWCCC to 91999, and you can make a secure donation that way.
You can.
Is that new? Is that process new?
Yes. Yep. The Mobile Cause platform was something that our United Way and many others adapted during COVID to keep the option and the opportunity for a campaign to going. So it's been very, very successful. We have a lot of workplaces who are doing a virtual campaign. We're calling it virtual campaign. We're doing a hybrid, so doing the pledge form, which a lot of us like, but also have the option for the mobile giving. And it's been wonderful. We use it for events. We used it for our Jazz in the Grove event we held in June. We've used it for the barbecues. If you're coming to Prison City and would like some chicken barbecue, you can pay for it on that Mobile Cause app, so you don't need to bring cash or a check or anything like that.
It's a new world.
It is.
So do you have an idea what your average size donation is?
It's about $150.
And any idea how many people donate to the United Way?
On a typical year, we receive about 2,500 gifts. So we're at, I believe, almost 500.
Okay. So the other piece of this is how many people the United Way touches. So we most likely just mentioned about 1/3 of the agencies and it's really cradle to grave.
It is.
In the services that you provide. Do you have any idea how many people will use the United Way in Cuyahoga County in a given year?
Last year it was about 24,000. Over 24,000 people utilized a United Way funded
So that is
program.
About 1/3 of the population who could use everything from maybe a hospice type service to mental health services to playing basketball at the YMCA on William Street.
Childcare, after school program at BTW, Auburn Public Theater virtual program, the Rev, educational virtual program, last year virtual. So I think typically it's about probably over 40,000.
So almost half at some point there.
At some point. So it was a bit less because, everyone was just home more. Yeah.
Still to a certain degree.
To a certain degree, yes.
5 to 12-year-olds this week. We'll talk to Kathleen Cuddy about that in a few minutes. But can I tell, if you don't mind, I'd like to talk a little bit about you because you're new. You took over for Karen Macier, who left earlier this spring. She was with the United Way, I think, about 5 years.
Yep, and Seneca County prior to that.
And Seneca County. So you're originally, you mentioned you're originally from Marcellus. So you moved back to Marcellus?
Yep, we have.
You were the director, and I'm very interested because no news story has talked about this to the best of my knowledge other than mentioning. What is the Navy Marine Corps Relief Society of Pearl Harbor? Other than a tongue twister.
I know. When I first started working for them, you should have heard my phone greeting. It wasn't pretty sometimes. But the Navy Marine Corps Relief Society, it's a wonderful organization. So we're a Navy family. My husband's active duty, and he's been in almost 19 years. So it's an international organization, nonprofit, serve sailors and Marines, retirees and widows, and wounded warriors, and they focus on financial counseling and emergent assistance, similar to maybe what Catholic Charities would do, assistance with rent, utilities, emergency
one of the largest
situations.
naval bases in the world.
Pearl Harbor. It's one of the larger, yes. Yep.
So how long were you? Was your husband? Were you in the military?
No.
So how long were you stationed there, or was he stationed there?
3 years. 3 years.
So where's he stationed now?
He is still there.
He's still there.
Yeah.
Okay.
His ship is deployed, so
Is he a surface ship, a submarine?
Surface, yes.
What type of ship is he on?
A destroyer.
Okay. So the Pacific's a very big ocean.
It is, and he's somewhere there at the moment.
And then, do you have a family here?
We do, yes. We have 2 kids, and my family is here. Yep.
And how old are your children?
They're 4 and 8.
So preschool and 3rd grade, second grade,
that's
3rd
right.
grade.
3rd grade.
Right. And so, what type of other not-for-profit work have you done before you came here?
So I worked for NMCRS, as you know, everything's an acronym, especially in the military. But Navy Marine Corps Relief Society, I worked for them. Started volunteering 12 years ago, so I was with them for a very long time. We were married, and our first duty station together was Japan, Sasebo. So I worked for them for 5 years there, which is amazing. Then they were able to transfer me as we moved. So I've worked for them for a long time. That was my first nonprofit.
And you stuck with it.
I did, because it's amazing.
So I got to ask this question. So sounds like you were stationed in really warm places. You grew up in Marcellus. No disrespect to Marcellus, but it's like Auburn. We get snow. In fact, I think we've already had snow this week, and nobody wants to admit it.
Yep.
Why come back to Central New York?
You know, first of all, I did miss the weather. I know. I'll check back in February.
Yeah,
I know.
Come back in about 90 days.
But I miss the rain. I did miss the rain. Central New York has a lot. There's a lot here. There's a lot to do. It's beautiful. There's a lot of services, really good schools, very good schools. That's huge. Good healthcare. And it's spread out.
Okay.
If anyone's been on the island.
Japan's a little bit
It's a little congested, and so is the island of Oahu. For anyone who's ever been on Oahu, it's very congested. It's a wonderful place to be. There was no contest as to where we would retire.
So is your husband looking at retirement?
Soon.
Okay. So what's your biggest challenge so far with the United Way?
The challenge, gosh, I don't know if I've been in the position long enough to know or even think.
Campaign.
Well, I don't even think a challenge would be it. I think, coming together and forming new collaborations, I wouldn't call it a challenge, but maybe, okay, what's our next focus?
Okay, so instead of challenge, what's been your biggest surprise?
I think, well, I walked into an extraordinary office with great staff and an amazing group of volunteers. So, I mean, the surprises are many because it is my first experience with the United Way. So I really came in with fresh eyes and no preconceived notions or preconceived or, I used to do it this way or that way. And as a military family, we kind of gotten used to take things as it comes and you just find your way. But I think, the greatest surprise is how much this community does come together. We have found the most amazing collaborations between our partner agencies, finding new solutions to challenges. We have 2 partner agencies right now who, one of them had a hurdle to overcome and another partner agency came in and said, well, we can help you with that. So they partnered and came together and found a solution.
Can you expand on that?
Sure. I will, call them out, but Booker T. Washington is an amazing organization and supports so many kids and families and just, it's unbelievable what they do every day. And they were having trouble with finding transportation to get kids from a couple of the schools to the center after, at the end of the day. So
a critical need.
Critical.
For working parents.
Absolutely. So one of our other partners, Scat Van, said, well, we have these vans. You can use them in the afternoon. So BTW staff will go and pick up a Scat Van from the motor pool, pick up the kids, bring them to the center, and return the van.
So can we talk a little bit about how once you get your money, and we hope you hit 800 plus, that's the goal. And again, if you look on the screen, there's ways that you can donate. How do you distribute the money?
So we do something called a Citizens Review Panel. We have a group of volunteers Not necessarily regular volunteers, but new volunteers that can come on each year from all different areas of the community: education, health and human services, industry, city, county. And we put the applications out, the grant, request for grant applications.
So agencies make requests. They come up with a program,
Sure.
and then you have this committee, which is sometimes 4 or 5 people.
It is.
Or less.
Yep, 4 or 5 people.
To review. Usually a banker somehow involved, looking at the financials.
Right. So, and then the partner agency will meet with us. We'll sit and have a discussion and talk about the program and, what they need for success and to meet the goals that they're looking to meet. And then our, the review panel, the fund review panel will make the decision.
So you have a fund distribution panel that reviews all this. So in this given year, do you have more in requests than you think you will raise?
I don't know because, I don't think that's happened before. I cannot speak on great authority because I don't actually know, but I don't believe the requests have surpassed what we've raised.
Okay, so they will make that distribution decision when?
We make the decisions next year, so February, March. So the call for applications, the application templates go out soon in the next week or two, and then we receive everything by the end of the year. And then we convene our panels. And
that's, you don't have the history here for this, but I'm assuming you're aware, is that it used to be you applied back in May and June, and fund distribution would try to meet and make all the decisions by December 15th, which is not the case anymore.
No.
So when did and I know the time of the campaign has shifted a little bit, not necessarily the start date, but when do you finish?
We'll finish by the end of February.
Okay, so it does go. So if somebody wants a donation in a particular tax year, you'll work with them on that. And how often do you add agencies, or do you not add agencies, or do you add new programs?
It depends on our applicants. Absolutely.
We talked about personal care. The United Way doesn't necessarily provide direct services.
Right.
Am I correct on that?
That's right.
But you do have 3, which I would almost call direct services, but are a little bit different. So the first one is 211. We've done a couple of shows on 211, but could you explain it real quickly what it is?
Sure. That's, from United Way Worldwide, that is a partnership that has been around for a long time. 211 is, a resource. It is a place to find contact information for libraries, lawyers, hospitals, homeless shelters, food pantries. It's a database of all the information in a county, and you can call and receive that information.
So how does the Cuyahoga County United Way support it, first of all?
So we support at the moment with awareness. I mean, we put out
the word out.
Exactly. Yep, 211. Should be a go-to, or can be a go-to, if you're looking for information for, where's the closest urgent care. I mean, something as simple as that. And it's, it's accessed anywhere.
So one of the challenges in the past has always been getting people to use the service.
Right.
Do you is that still a challenge?
It is, and it's regional. It's because our 211 is located in a different county.
It's in Monroe.
It is, but they serve Cuyahoga County. Absolutely.
So the other item that we're all thrilled about is that we're going to all be paying taxes again after the first of the year, when we're going to get our tax paperwork. But one of the programs that I think the United Way has done for at least a decade and a half has been the CASH program. First of all, what is it?
CASH program is a free tax preparation service. So we have a site coordinator and several wonderful volunteers, and we're already preparing for this year, and it's free tax prep. So it's usually held at one of the college's locations, and we will be doing the same this year. And you can bring your tax documents and drop them off, and we can, our volunteers prepare your taxes.
And there's no charge for that?
No charge.
But the key factor here is the earned income tax credit.
Right.
And this is what, if I understand it correctly, is important, not necessarily only to the United Way, but to the community in general is that people sometimes don't take advantage of that, and they're leaving a lot of money in Washington that could come back to them personally.
Exactly.
So is there, I don't know, I most likely should have asked you to look this data up before, but is there a number that you know that you get earned income tax credit that gets returned to this community?
Right. So in a typical year, it can be upwards of $1 million that comes back to the community. Last year was over 500,000. But now you have the child tax credit as well. So our preparers can help families with the child tax credit information.
So in that particular case, that's money that literally, when it comes back here, gets reinvested here, whether
Absolutely.
people are shopping at Maxwell's or Jeans up in Port Barn or Wegmans or at any other store, they're investing it back in the community. And so how can people find more out about that? Will there be
there will be a lot more out. We'll put out information out on Facebook, on our website. They can call the office, but there will be a lot more information. We're in the planning stages at the moment.
I don't want to get too into depth because we've got only a couple of minutes, but you have also been, this United Way has been working on ALICE, the Asset Limited Income Constrained Employee. What is that?
It is basically what we call the working poor, or you live paycheck to paycheck. It can be a dual income family, single income family. You look at the average
hourly
wage between $15 and $22, $23.
So this is a data collection that helps not only the United Way, but policymakers make determinations.
Yes. When your child care bill is $1,200 a month and you pull in $1,000 each paycheck,
how do you do it?
How do you do that?
I don't want to let you go without two things. One is the United Way is going to turn 100 next year. So what's planned? And we'd love to have you back to talk about that.
We would love to, and hopefully we can bring more. As you said in the beginning, we can bring several people. But it's a big year next year, 100 years. So we have a lot where we're working on events for the entire year. Some really fun, making things very special and getting
anything you can tell us about yet, or you want to roll it out at a later date?
We'll roll it out, but we are planning a gala, so we will have a 100th anniversary gala October 13th. So that is definite, that is confirmed, but we're working on a really special personal care drive. We're working on maybe bringing mini golf back. I know that was something that our community, many know about. I can't wait to live through that, but we had a mini golf tournament.
Yes.
So many things that will be.
So there's a miniature golf tournament. You used to always be at the Holiday Inn, and it was interesting to say the least. But from the corporate, while it was a fun event and you raised money, it also got a lot of businesses involved because they designed some very creative. I'm sure you've seen pictures now.
I have.
Of holes, and you're like, how do they do that in a hallway?
Yep.
So, well, we'll have you back to talk about that. I did want to give you just a 30 seconds, if you don't, if you'd like to use it, to talk into that camera and tell people why they should give to the United Way. We've put up on the screen how they can do it, but why is it important to give to the United Way?
So one of the most amazing things about the United Way is that all of the money stays in Cayuga County. You can designate to an organization. You can specifically say, I want my money to go to the Red Cross or education or financial stability, and it stays here. So it's reinvested or invested right back into the community, into our kids, our individuals, our nonprofits, so they can continue to expand services and promote the well-being of our community. And there's nothing better. I mean, very simply put. And we're collaborators, partnering with as many people as possible to serve the community. So,
well, we wish you luck on the campaign. We urge people to give to the United Way until it does hurt, and that's okay. But we have had the new executive director of the Cayuga County United Way, Kathryn in. Again, welcome her to the community. We urge you to help out this fall and into January and February with their campaign. And we hope you'll be joining us again to talk about the 100th anniversary and other events that the United Way is doing.
Sure.
We will be back in just a minute with Cayuga County's Public Health Director, Kathleen to update the community on COVID numbers. the response of the county to the pandemic, as well as discuss the upcoming flu season. We'll be back on Tuesday with two back-to-back Inside Governments. The first one with Auburn Mayor Michael D. Quill, giving a city update, and then Cuyahoga County Legislative Chair Aileen McNabb-Coleman to talk about the county, but also to discuss the budget that is being released as we tape this on Thursday evening for the 2022 year. And so we'll talk to her about that. We'll finish our fall season with two Inside Government shows next Thursday. Veterans Day, the first one with New York State Senator John Mannion, and then with New York State Assemblyman John Lamatis. Before we go, though, we would like to let you know that you can send us your ideas for questions or thoughts for future guests for the spring when we come back to Inside Government or Beyond the Front Page. You can do that at cozguytho@aol.com. I'm Guy Cosentino for Cuyahoga Community College. I want to thank you for watching. We hope you'll be safe. Stick around for Kathleen Cuddy, but otherwise we'll see you back here in the studio on Tuesday.